guys rolling?
I thought that was your mic.
That could be my mic. Just turn it up here. We good? Nolan, are we rolling? Can we turn the handheld up just a little bit? All right. Well, welcome. We're going against a lot of noise rock, which is fine. So I'm Josh Antonuccio. Welcome to the Gladden House sessions. If you haven't been here before, we are a new addition to the music festival in conjunction with WOUB.org and the Ohio University School of Media Arts and Studies. If you have not joined us through this weekend, we've had an incredible array of magical moments back here at the Gladden House stage. All of the sessions, the interviews and performances will be featured throughout this next week on WOUB.org, so be sure to check those out. And also, our last session after our time with Todd Burge today will be with Ray Wiley Hubbard. So please stick around for that or make your way back at 5:30 for that. And without further ado, please welcome Todd Burge to the Gladden House. So Todd.
Thank you very much.
Before we get started, let me ask you this question. How long have you actually been playing music for?
Well, if you don't count my choir experience in junior high,
Cutting out the choir experience.
I played piano when I was really young and hated that. But not counting that, I started when I was, I started in the early 80s when I went to Morgantown to school. So 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
So how long have you been putting records out for? Because as far as I can remember, I feel like there's a new Todd Burge record out every year, every other year.
I've been putting music out since 1985 pretty regularly. So, yeah. Were you born then?
I was born. I'm a pre-internet man.
Actually putting vinyl out for a few years there. So, long time.
But you were in a band before that had a lot of traction, isn't that right?
Yeah, I was in a band. They called it we called it rock and roll, and they like to call it alternative rock. This was a
would that be alt rock for short?
Alt rock, yes, if you're really hip. But and it was called 63 Eyes, and on rare occasion. Well, thank you, thanks, Mom.
The fan club made it out today.
And we still blow the dust off and play maybe once or twice a year. But yeah, we were putting out records in the late 80s, up to the mid-90s, and toured all over the country, and college radio type band. Did pretty well.
So when did you transition to the fine singer-songwriter that you are now?
Well, I was always writing my songs on acoustic guitar, even in the rock and roll, when I was playing rock and roll a lot, and so it just depended on what the people I was playing with at the time. So 63 Eyes would just take them in a different place, you know. So it's always been acoustic music. It's always kind of been folk music to me, and it bends and sways depending on who I'm working with, you know.
So when did your last release come out?
My last release came out in late 2012. I'm working on, and it was 2 releases. I did a kids record, and I did a record or CD that's definitely not for kids, and I'm kind of doing the same thing right now that'll be out, you know, this winter. So I'm working on another recording project.
Who are you collaborating with for that?
I've been working for the last few years with Tim O'Brien, and we just recorded a track just a couple weeks ago, kind of starting off the sessions at John Prine's place there in Nashville called the Butcher Shop, and so that's where I've recorded a couple of records there, and the last one we did at in Tim's house in his living room, and used Don Dixon, who maybe you know that produced REM's first couple records and has produced a slew of people, Smithereens and people like that, and very active songwriter, producer in Canton, Ohio. He lives in Canton, Ohio now. So that's my whole story, pretty much.
There you go. It's summed up very quickly.
You're caught up.
So can we hear something that's coming off the new release that you?
Yeah, I'll do what we just recorded. This is a song that this is going to also be on a compilation that Billy Ed Wheeler and Kathy Mattea and Tim O'Brien and Molly and many others going to be on this recording compilation. It has to do with the water crisis in West Virginia, and probably everybody's aware of this, but we're trying to raise more awareness of how these people live in these rural areas in West Virginia who should have this pristine water situation. Years ago, their water has been taken away. They've gotten together, and the companies have gotten together, and they've put in city water systems. They have city water, and then that was poisoned by this thing that happened in January, and so this song's about that, or it revolves around that, I should say. I wonder what the natives thought as Washington rode the river so pristine. Then forced to follow his direction, be it hell or be it heaven, made to swim up his stream. Story is as old as the mountains tall and green. They used to scrape the skyline of a state that once was clean. Change, change. If not at all, we'll stay the same, same, same. Change, change. We've got to break and make some change. Granddad had a can from the plant along the river on his roof. It was 1972. Issued by some man to measure how much toxin the plant was letting loose. Now the numbers all are in, they've been crunched and watered up. They just toss them in the river, now our children drink them up. Change, change. If not at all, we'll stay the same. Same, same. Change, change. We've got to break and make some change. Short-term gain is taken away everything our great state has got to gain. And when there's nothing left to lose, our kids will pack it up and simply move away. It's true what they say, mountaineers are always free in their hearts and minds, with freedom to leave. Change, change. If not at all, we'll stay the same, same. Change, change. We've got to break and make some change.
Todd Burge.
Thank you.
So has that issue, the water rights issue in West Virginia, has that really made its way into a lot of your material and kind of fighting for the rights of people that can't really have their voices be heard?
Well, if you live in West Virginia, those type of things, and if you're writing music long enough, it seems that the songs just everybody I knew was writing songs about that. But it's West Virginia has it's a state that needs its esteem raised, and we've been in our the people that live there have been stepped on by big business. It's not different even around here in Southeast Ohio, but that was just an insane thing that happened in January, and a lot of people and I think it was strange that Pete Seeger died. I don't know if it was a day or two after that. So I was thinking a lot about Pete Seeger and what would he do? Thinking it'd be nice if he'd brought his sloop there, down our way. If he'd still been alive, I just pictured him being there. So, and I think a lot of the folk singers are inspired by that.
Well, let's hear something else from something else, maybe from the upcoming release. Something else in the works.
Okay.
It's funny. That's the third time Pete Seeger has come up today in conversation.
Well, he'll always be a force, I think. He would open his mouth and love would fall out. It's just a wonderful man. I drove down the back road, got all turned around. Found the back road led me to another bulldozed town. Another sleeping city working hard until it dropped. Most points poor and dirty, but one part fully stocked. Streets were like a vein clogged up with fat, with toll booths like a fatty valve, but with cars and trucks and that. The Queen of Hearts was clicking in my spider bike spokes as I passed all those folks moving slow like a poke. I couldn't pack a bag, just had the clothes on my back. And I just need to find a place to wash my dirty face and figure out a way around this big fat city. Heart attack. Ma and Pop got moved, hey, they're stuck under one roof. They all got lumped together in an Uncle Sam Walton spoof. No need to know who done it or run away from it. We're all on a need to know basis with these dumb looks on our faces. I couldn't pack a bag, just had the clothes on my back. And I just need to find a place to wash my dirty face and figure out a way around this big fat city. No time to cry or say goodbye. Take off fast with just those clothes on your back. And I just need to find a place where we once sang Amazing Grace and figure out a way around this big fat city. Figure out a way around this big fat city. Heart attack.
Todd Burge, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
So maybe we could get one more song out of you before you take off from here.
Yeah, let's do something a little lighter. This is a tune for it here, I think.
So one other question while you're tuning up. So outside of the kind of social issues going on in West Virginia, just musically, what influences have you pulled out of that region or out of where you live?
Well, it's just I write a lot, so I try to write every day, and for me, bulk is the answer, and so it's just everything, everything. This isn't a very interesting answer, I don't think, but most folk singers can talk and do this at the same time. I mean, I get a lot of inspiration just from everyday stuff and from my family and my kids, and take twisted things that they say, and I lie a lot, and that's fun.
So basically, retwisting deception is the
yeah, taking the truth and twisting it up, and you know, protecting the guilty by lying a lot is my way of doing things, and hiding behind different characters, expressing my feelings through others in song. Am I saying anything out loud? I don't know.
It's okay. We'll just stream this to millions of people later. So.
All right. But this is a song. This is about. I have a recording called "Distraction Pact," and the song was based on actually a songwriter who lost his family. He was so wrapped up in songwriting, you know, and he lost his family, and he went to online dating, and that didn't work out. And then he decided to drink a lot and self-medicate. Went through this crazy middle-age crisis. And then an intervention, rehab, and that all that's in that CD, basically, in 40 minutes on Distraction Pact. And here's the middle-age crisis part. It goes like this. I'm as young as I'll ever be, so take a good look at me. Kiss me hard with a bit of tongue, for I'm as young as I'll ever be. I'm as fresh as I'll ever get, and if you blink, you'll miss it, I bet. Let's hook up before I lose my look. Yeah, I'm as fresh as I'll ever get. I'm as clean as I'll ever be. I brought new shoes to this hootenanny. I brushed my head, I brushed my teeth. I'm as fresh as I'll ever be. Come on, baby, make me squeak. Bring the dirty over to me. We'll roll around and act all free. Come on, baby, make me squeak. To be as old as I can be, as old as I can be. That's the goal for me, to be as old as I can. Am I as smart as I'll ever get? I never was much brainy. In school they tried to learn me to be, but I was drunk as I could be. And when I try to stand, I just fall down, you see. Problem was I always had to get up and take a pee. Ain't that the drunkard's irony? To be as old as I can be, as old as I can be. me to be as old as I can. I'm younger now than I was when I started this song, because it's taken a minute or three. Ripped off a little bit of life from you and me. I guess I've done my best to say, don't want to live my whole life in one day. I'll spread it thin, then begin again, and be as old as I can be, as old as I can be.
Todd Burge, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Please come back 5:30 for our last session of today with Ray Wiley Hubbard. Hope to see you then.